Hello, thank you for tuning in to the Katie Sassine Show. As always, I'm your host, Katie Sassine, here addressing the indoctrination of the American nation. So before we do a quick recap of the week, or before we do our recap of the week and get everything together in a nutshell, we are going to finish up discussing the recent pipeline activity that's been going on. Now, we know that Trump signed an executive order to construct the Keystone and the Dakota access pipelines upon his inauguration. And this just in, very recently, we found out that Trump issued the pipeline permit to TransCanada. So this is all in the works, and this is all actually happening. So Russ Girling, we've got a tweet from Russ Girling. He's a CEO of TransCanada, said North America needs energy, and the safest way to get that energy is through a safe and modern pipeline. So as we can see, so nicely put by Russ Girling, CEO of TransCanada, this is the safest way for our country to get energy right now because of our reliance on foreign countries for oil. And of course, any kind of natural resource. It's dangerous for us to depend on other countries, especially right now during a time of a religious war. So what I would like to show is, I would like for us to scroll through transcanada.com and their environmental page, because they're very, very serious about going about constructing pipelines in a sustainable way. Now, if we check out this article on transcanada.com, we see that they're committed to protecting the environment. It says not just because we have to, but because we want to. They're one of North America's leading energy infrastructure companies. They respect diversity of landscapes, et cetera, et cetera. TransCanada's environment strategy. They have environmental stewardship, meaning that they consider their corporate values in every interaction they have with the environment. That includes climate change and energy efficiency, land and biodiversity, and water. They're serious about environmental protection and environmental performance. So there we go. As we can see, TransCanada is very serious about going about the construction of the pipeline in an environmentally safe way. And the main cause for protest due to the pipeline, especially the Dakota access pipeline, has been the contamination of water, along with the sacred burial grounds that would be destroyed by the construction of the Dakota access pipeline. So as far as the protection of sacred burial grounds go, all we can say is that the US government had to choose between the lesser of two evils. One choice was to protect the sacred burial grounds of Native Americans. The other choice was to protect the current day United States of America by ensuring that we are independent as far as supplying ourselves with oil necessary for transportation and a multitude of other industries. So what they had to do was say, well, we are sympathetic, we are people, and at the same time, not only are we sympathetic people, we're people that need to survive. And in order to survive, which trumps everything, and Trump understands that survival trumps everything, in order to survive, people have to protect themselves. And as a state, and as a realist state in a realist world governed by realist principles, we have to understand that the world can be a dangerous place. And in order to protect ourselves, this was the right decision to make. Now, I don't want to beat a dead horse here. So the bigger picture of this whole scenario is just that. It's just that nobody wants to make a decision that disrespects a group of people, especially a group of people that have been disrespected in America for years, who had their land taken away from them initially in the first place. This was their land, and it was conquered by someone else. And, many atrocities happened to these people, and there were, vicious battles between the Native Americans and between the colonists. So anyway, it's sad what has to be done, and the factors that are unfortunate are still unfortunate, but it's fortunate that we have the ability to get this natural resource and that we're going through with it, because that's what's important right now in this day and age And that just, it trumps the protection of the burial grounds and the possible contamination of the water. So unfortunately, it has to be like that because in the end, people have to survive. So now, recap of the week. You know, this is an extended recap of the week. There were several weak headlines out in the last week concerning Mr. President Donald Trump that were criticizing him for golfing and for not having a dog in the White House. So, no dog in the White House. To me, no big deal. But according to the mass media, it's a huge problem. And if Trump wants to be considered a normal president, then he should have a dog in the White House like everyone else did. So it just seems a little bit silly to me that this anti-Trump media narrative is being pushed out so hard. No first dog in the White House is actually making headlines. So the media is also assuming the narrative that Trump is a hypocrite for golfing. So what is up with this? Well, I'll tell you, the mass media relentlessly reports an anti-Trump narrative, reproducing the same stories about him multiple times under different names, and such as not having a dog or taking a trip to his golf course and misstating it as something that makes him evil or something that makes him malicious or something that makes him a worse president than Obama. It's just always trying to insinuate something negative that is the issue here. So the mass media has to decide if it's going to, be fair and report the real news, or if it's going to just stay on this bias agenda until people just realize it and get sick of it. Because one day the people are going to realize it, or everything's just going to go into perpetual destruction. So it's either or. Now, we know also that the GOP's revision on healthcare did not go through the House of Representatives. And President Donald J. Trump understands that this was a great learning experience, which is the most important thing. And the moral of this story, as I said, is do not rush failure. So that's what happened here. The bill was ready. The executive order was ready for Donald Trump to sign upon inauguration. And it was rushed. They only had a couple weeks to put the bill together before President Trump's inauguration. So it just wasn't a cohesive plan that, they were ready to push through. And Trump commented on the event. He said that he learned a lot about loyalty through the voting process, and he learned how the voting process works. And he also said, on a positive note, that it's the best thing that could have happened. And because it reminds them that they do not need to rush failure, and that even though Trump supporters really want this to happen, we have to go about it in the right way. We can't just simply, push something through that's not ready. We have to really be cautious about it because it will have long-term implications. So anyway, Mark Shields, who is a syndicated columnist for PBS, he spoke very passionately against Donald Trump and the whole administration and the Republican Party on PBS. And the way I described it was he berates Trump and the Republican Party because he really does. He described that, we have a protest president and a protest party, and I simply cannot agree with that. If anything, I'd have to say it's the opposite. I'd have to say that Barack Obama was protesting the American system. He was protesting the American Constitution. He was trying to take away our individual rights. He was trying to, mess with our Bill of Rights that our founding fathers warned us to never compromise. So if Trump is a protest president, then he is a great protest president who is a protest president for the people. And this protest party that Shields refers to is the best thing that's ever happened to America. But Shields, of course, isn't referring to it in that way. Shields is saying that the Republican Party is totally disorganized, doesn't know what it's doing, is full of a bunch of corporate, crooked, greedy moguls, and that we're not looking out for the middleman, that we're not looking out for the blue-collar worker who voted Trump into office. But I believe that Shields is wrong. He says it was a terrible bill, and that's true. I give him that. And he went on to say something that I definitely disagree with. The only organizing principle was that it was against Barack Obama, which is not true whatsoever. The organizing principle was the people and looking out for the people and what they wanted. And we know that the people wanted Obamacare to be repealed. And that's one of the biggest reasons they voted Trump into office. All the complaining. The Republican Party hated Obamacare before it was even called Obamacare. Anyway, we've got to take a break. We'll be right back with the recap of the week on the Katie Sassine Show. Stay tuned in.
The Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart. And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart.
El Rey and Elijah.
El Rey Mexican Restaurant.
Family owned and operated, and a local favorite for families, parties, and meetings.
Great prices.
Friendly service and delicious Mexican cuisine.
Patio dining available.
Come sing in Carlos's Cantina every Friday 9 to 1.
Eat in or take away.
Same location for 14 years. Open 7 days at the corner of Maddox Drive and 515. North Georgia's favorite Mexican cuisine. El Rey and Elijah.
At Days Chevrolet in Jasper, we make everything better. And no matter what vehicle you drive, our new state-of-the-art service center can keep you running like new with factory-trained technicians, genuine parts, and value pricing. Even convenient Saturday service hours and online appointments. So if you want to extend the life of your vehicle, let the Days service experts help. Your better day is just ahead at Days Chevrolet in Jasper, where we service whatever you drive.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
Circuit World, brand name merchandise at unbelievably low prices. Furniture, appliances, and electronics. Circuit World is locally owned and operated, serving the tri-state area. Circuit World has highly trained professionals to help. Visit your hometown Circuit World today. 3 locations in Georgia: Ellijay, Blue Ridge, and Blairsville, Franklin, and Murphy, North Carolina. No credit checks, so let Circuit World deliver to you today.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East Ellijay. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Hello, welcome back to the Katie Sassine Show. This is the recap for the week continuing. I almost messed up the name of my show. So, as you can see, it's been a slightly long week for me, but we're going to wrap up today's episode with something very interesting. We're going to segue from Mad Men into Mad Scientist. So stay tuned for that very insightful video coming up for you. We still have the background up that depict the protest of the Dakota Access Pipeline. As we know, that caused some very contentious protests. And just a couple days ago, President Donald Trump granted the permit for TransCanada to begin the project. So that's great news. And TransCanada expressed some positive input on Twitter regarding the event. So that's all looking up, and they say this is the safest way for us to go regarding getting our oil supply. So the safest way for my country, that's something that I would like to side with. So I'm proud to say that this has been pushed through. In addition, we left off discussing the healthcare plan and how the new healthcare plan called the American Healthcare Act, it did not go through in the House of Representatives. So, and they learned a lot about that and about the process of legislation Mr. Trump did. And on PBS, we discussed Mr. Mark Shields, syndicated columnist, speaking out against Mr. Donald Trump, calling him a protest president, saying the Republican Party is a protest party, when in fact it's quite the opposite. He's a president for the people. It's more like the People's Party. And the protesters in actuality are the resistors, the Trump resistance, the Organizing for Action, the Women's March. It's actually the left that has been protesting Mr. Shields, not the right. So I don't know where he came off with all that, but he seems to be missing a lot, especially a lot of events that happened just this past year, 2016. So, and 2017, since the inauguration of Trump, most definitely. So he says the only organizing principle of the American Health Care Act by the Trump administration, put forth mainly by Paul Ryan, was that it was against Barack Obama, when in fact the main organizing principle was that it was for the people and by popular demand. Now, let's not talk about the popular vote to get into that, but fair and square, he won the election. So this is what the people want, as proven by the presidential election. Anyway, moving on to Ronald Reagan. In order to express support for the repeal of Obamacare and working toward the repeal of Obamacare and the support of the new healthcare plan by the Trump administration, the American Healthcare Act, Ronald Reagan had commented on the dangers of the socialization of medicine back in the 60s. In 1961, we listened to an audio clip of Reagan explaining the Farran bill and how it brought us to Medicare, and how Medicare was put in place to eventually expand it to the Affordable Care Act. And how now we've realized that, the Conservative Party has realized those dangers, and because we've just woken up to it, as we said when we elected Trump, we woke up, there was an awakening, there was an American awakening. And in that American awakening, we realized that we do not want to be controlled by our government. We realized that we want to make our own decisions. Because for so long we had this freedom and we've been taking it for granted. And now finally the American people have woken up and realized, wow, since we've given so much trust into our government, we've actually not been keeping track of our government, and we've been getting screwed over by our government, for lack of better words. So then with the Trump election, we had this big American awakening, and people started to realize, I don't want the government to dictate my health care and my protection of my life. But with the Affordable Care Act, that's exactly what you're getting. You're getting everything from your government, which means your government can take everything away. And I'm not trying to spit out any kind of propaganda at anyone. I know sometimes I get exhausted with my points up here because a lot of times I have to repeat what I'm saying because there's so much information. What I'm trying to tell everyone out there is that we live in a realist world that, is dominated by a country that has become overtaken by liberals with liberal principles. And they don't understand the dangers of what they're doing because they don't understand the realities of human nature. But if they do, then they understand that they're tricking the American people into doing exactly what they want and the whole world to do exactly what they want, which is submit their control so that the government can have full control over the people, which sounds crazy. And then we looked at a quote from Mad Men. And Mad Men is a show based in the 60s. And it even shows, the presidency of Ronald Reagan. It says if they pass, or it shows Ronald Reagan in the show. Ronald Reagan in 61 said, excuse me, I'm talking faster than I'm thinking. In the show Mad Men, there was a quote that said, if they pass Medicare, they won't stop until they ban personal property. So that just goes to show that, the socialization of one thing ties into a bigger picture. Now, jumping from Mad Men to Mad Scientists, what is the ultimate level of control that the government wants to have over us? Let's take a look at the 2045 initiative and the transhumanist movement. And this is the big scope of socialism. This is the big goal of the left. This is a movement that I associate with the left. It's the 2045 movement. And let's check it out.
The world is on the verge of global change. The speed of data transmission has increased by multiples of millions. The rate of globally significant events and that of discoveries and crises is growing exponentially. Our civilization is like an uncaptained ship sailing on rough seas with neither chart nor compass, all the while moving faster and faster. The time we have to make the right decisions is shorter and shorter. We are facing the choice to fall into a new dark age, into affliction and degradation, or to find a new model for human development and create not simply a new civilization, but a new mankind. Historic crises show that to break the deadlock, we need technological revolution. It is clear that today's revolution will also require the deepest social transformation. The world's community and leaders should encourage mankind, instead of wasting resources on solving momentary problems. To focus on the technologies of the future: nanotechnology, biotechnology, information technology, cognitive technology, genetics and robotics. Doing so will allow us to find new sources of energy, create fundamentally new architecture and transportation, allow unprecedented developments of human cognitive abilities, refine artificial intelligences and brain-computer interfaces, simulate complex systems, create humanoid robots and cyborgs, and with the help of nanorobots, we may develop manageable matter. Find ways to transfer one's personality to an artificial carrier. Yet what we need is not just another technological revolution, but a new civilizational paradigm. We need new philosophy and ideology, new ethics, new culture and new psychology, and even new metaphysics. We must reset our limits, go beyond ourselves, beyond the Earth, and beyond the solar system. This is an adequate response to the challenges of our time. Thus, new reality and future man will arise. Could it happen spontaneously, by itself? Unlikely. Humanity does not have a master plan of its development. It seeks stability. It lives in the present and does not plan. It preserves the status quo and tries to escape development. It does not tend to map future centuries and take responsibility for evolution. In consumer society's culture, there is no evolutionary vocabulary and rhetoric. To break the deadlock, the Russia 2045 movement was founded. It is a mega project intended to reach new heights and meanings. We intend to create a new vector for civilization, aimed at constant human development and evolution. As happened with the mega projects of the last century, the nuclear and the space programs, we integrate the latest discoveries and developments from the sciences: physics, energetics, aeronautics, bioengineering, nanotechnology, neurology, cybernetics, cognitive science. May everlasting spiritual ideals and values help us avoid going astray. Our project...
Welcome back to the Katie Sassine Show. So, from Mad Men to Mad Scientists, this is where it all ties in. Government control is real, and the possibility of an all-controlling government forced upon its people is a real threat to humanity. And that's a threat to humanity that people should think about, which, reminds me to support the Conservative Party every day. So what we just watched was a sales pitch for transhumanism, and they claim that transhumanism is an adequate response to the challenges of our time. and that this is the answer to all the crises. So all the bills that are being pushed forth in our government and the United Nations and all this stuff, it's all unnecessary. The mad scientists think that the answer lies in transhumanism. It lies in immortality for this utopian world that they have somehow put together and crafted in that video. So in the description of that video, it says a global network of scientists who further research on the development of cybernetic technology, the 2045 group, has the ultimate goal of transferring a human's individual consciousness to an artificial carrier. So that is where total government control lies. And I think that if anything's going to cause the next world war, if it's not the Islamic war, the religious war, it would be transhumanism and those for and against it, which I'm against it. But I know many people that are for it as well. Are you for it or are you against it? Is this an adequate solution to the problems of our time? I don't know. In my opinion, we should try to support Trump and try to support our president. Anyway, that's all I've got for this week on the Katie Sassine Show. I hope you have a great weekend. And remember to research into the transhumanist movement if you haven't already, and to follow me on Twitter at KatieFYNTV. And thank you, Sam, and at Katie@fetchyournews.com. Thank you so much.
There comes a time when the hard way is the only way. Ordering Pizza Hut is not that time. When I want a $7.99 large pizza from Pizza Hut, I can order with this, and now from my Pizza Hut Pie Tops.
Here's your large 2-topping Pizza Hut pizza.
Easy as pie.
Now get a large 2-topping pizza for just $7.99. It's the best pizza delivery deal.
Because no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LOJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
It's a new year, new you at Schottenkirk Ford Jasper. Ring in the new year with huge deals on a brand new Ford. Right now, get exceptional offers like 0% financing plus a $1,500 factory rebate on a new 2017 Ford F-150 XLT. Or get 0% financing plus a $1,000 factory rebate on a new 2017 Ford Explorer. Make your resolution a reality during the New Year, New You sales event at Schottenkirk Ford Jasper, home of the Schottenkirk Customer Guarantee. Visit us online at SchottenkirkFordJasper.com.